¿Cómo estás, buddies? Hey, it's Concert Buddy. This week's video, I'm doing a contest entry. The contest is 10 obscure records that you don't think others in the vinyl community possess or have shown in previous videos. So challenge accepted. I'll see you after the break. All right, buddies, so this was a very interesting contest concept to me. First of all, congrats to TKR Video Central, let me get it right. The inspiration for this contest, the suggestion for this contest, I think originally started as a way to push to 200 subs and beyond. Guys smashed it. I think he's at 400 plus as of me filming this morning. But terrific idea. Like, I love contests that kind of speak to me, make me work and think through my collection, like things people don't have, which is a lot harder than you would think because, you know, like they don't release 3 of a record. Sometimes they do. If you have like test pressings and stuff, which I've seen folks show in these videos. All power to them. I've seen folks show like dollar thrift store records. All power to them. I wanted to take a different approach and show records that I really enjoyed the music and music that I think potential viewers would enjoy if they check it out on a streamer or whatnot. So I'm going to try to go through this really quick because talking about 10 records, I could really pontificate for a long time on that, but I'm going to go real fast and kind of hit you with the greatest. I might hit you with the sweetness right now. Let's go.
I can't do it. Okay. We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
All right, first record I'm going to show is my first official bootleg, or unofficial, rather, I guess is the right way to put it, that I ever added to my collection. It's this Pearl Jam live show from July 11th, 1995 at Soldier Field in Chicago. I think it's unique in the sense, one, it's a bootleg, right? 2, it's unique to me in the sense that Pearl Jam, a predominantly Seattle-based band, have a connection to Chicago. Obviously, Eddie Vedder grew up there, so he has a fondness to Chicago, and they have that connection there. But in St. Louis, the connection is, this was released by a local alternative station, KPNT 105.7 The Point, in conjunction with the record store I found it, Vintage Vinyl, like one of the OGs of the St. Louis record scene. And I actually found this record there, like not in 1995, not in 2005, like literally like 2 or 3 years ago. It was hanging on the wall. So I don't know if this was dead stock that they had in the back or somebody traded in a collection, but I found it as very unique. Now, to be candid, the sound quality in this is not exactly great. It's a bootleg and it's probably recorded from somebody's tape recorder or something, or maybe a loose recording from the soundboard. So this isn't something you want to like hear like early Pearl Jam in top form on your record player. No, this is more for nostalgia, and this kind of a unique piece. Came on this, like, best way I can describe it is kind of toothpaste colored vinyl. I don't even know what color that would be, right? Because it's, I don't know, call it Crest, a Crest toothpaste color. Anyway, very unique piece, and one that, you know, I know there's some big Pearl Jam fans out there that probably have this, but I can tell you I haven't seen it in the VC, at least from the videos I've seen. Anyway, let's start it off right there.
Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
All right, so the next record for this contest is, this one was extremely hard for me to track down. I kind of randomly ran into it. I was interested in this one. This is Don Bennett, the Prince Teddy album. It's a late 70s release. There's a hole punch promo. Came on, gosh, what is this, AVI Records? I mean, I've never even heard of this label, right? It's that obscure, AVI Records. Reason it was on my radar to begin with was, talked about this before on the channel, the infamous or the famous, depending on your perspective, New York Times article from like 2008 that talked about the Universal fires, those masters that were lost in the fire. The author wrote about this record in particular for some reason, because the masters were lost to this recording, kind of to speak to the scale of, yeah, there were some big bands that lost their masters, but their music, either there was backup copies of the tape or they already were on digital somewhere, whereas this was an artist kind of lost to time, right? The only things that really exist of this artist are these limited amount of records that were released, and it's really interesting, cool soul music. I know Don Bennett, I read a little bit about him, had a career singing in other bands and that kind of stuff, but when I read that article, instantly put it on my want list, and it's very rarely popped up over the years, and when it has, it's been like I think $400. Crazy money. Crazy money, right? Boomer Scalper shout out there. This actually, as I was thinking of the records, putting these records together, it actually popped up coincidentally on Discogs for like $185, which is a pretty good price, all said, what I've seen in other copies. I found mine, believe it or not, at a local antique shop that they just happened to be flipping it on their Instagram, and I couldn't believe it. Like, I literally sent them a direct message, how much, blah, blah, blah. Never heard back from them. I literally waited till the next day, like a bat out of hell, to get down to the shop. Of course, the day that I was trying to get this, they don't open on time, so that was adding to my angst. But this record, I got it, I think it was like $45. So for something that was 10% of the Discogs selling prices I'd seen previously, like, I couldn't believe it. Has a little bit of a nick on side 2, but it plays through. My unit plays it through fine. But anyway, Don Bennett, the Prince Teddy album, Obscura Maximus. Let's go on to the next one.
Fucking thing sucks!
All right, so the next record I'm going to talk about is a new band, very young band, the Lucas State. This is their debut record, Fall In, Fall Out. They're actually going to come to St. Louis in September, so I'm hoping to catch them there. I found this band, or discovered this band, during COVID, either through like a Sirius show, Sirius XM, satellite radio. I honestly, it could have been through a YouTube push recommended video. However it was, the COVID fog is real, guys. However it was, great, like, high energy, like power, I don't want to say power punk. Like, it's hard for me to like label a band. Like, there's a rock band and I enjoy it. Based in the UK. I think this is the first time they've been stateside on a tour, so I'm really excited if I can connect with them to see their live show, because it's high energy, just like gritty, like club, like rock music, like some of my favorite stuff from like when I was in college and even now, right? So I know they're on streamers. If you're interested, give them a spin on streamers. If you want to track this down, I bought this through their band web store, because again, a very small band, trying to support the small bands where I can, especially if I enjoy the music. But the Lucas State, Fall In, Fall Out, is next on my list.
Yeah, these beats are dope.
All right, gonna do some more, let's call it obscure titles here. The band is not obscure. This is Dawes. This is their album Stories Don't End. This was I don't know if it was an indie store exclusive. I don't know the exact the origins of this one. I can tell you that it was hand numbered 455 of 500. It comes in this very indescript or nondescript, like, grocery bag cover, right? Compared to like the main release, which was like black cover with them around a campfire. Anyway, enjoyed Dawes a lot. Like, a really great folk rock kind of band. When they came out years ago, I think Rolling Stone or one of the mags called them like the Laurel Canyon sound, very similar to like Jackson Browne and like 70s Eagles type of vibe. Yeah, I could see that, but the songwriting is just superb with these guys. Here's the treatment. It's kind of like this light blue marble kind of treatment. Really cool. Sounds great. But yeah, I've always liked Dawes for years, and so I don't know how I got wind of this. I think it was through like social media that they were doing 500 of these pre-release before they did like the wide release of the album. So I went down to Vintage Vinyl, who I talked about before, and got my copy, and super pumped to pick this up, because I don't think, well, I know a lot of people in the VC like this band, like JC. He likes this band a lot. I've never seen this one flex before, so I could be running into some headwinds. I'm sure there's some folks in the vinyl community that have this. If you do, tell me, call me out. I'd love to find someone else who owns this lovely record.
I'm a friend of Sarah Connor.
Next one up on this list is Nick Perry and the Underground Thieves. This is their debut album, Sun Via. Nick Perry, I first got wind of him again late 2000, late aughts. He was in a band called Silvertide, based out of Philadelphia. It's a fantastic fucking band. Pardon my French, just awesome. And they were opening up for Velvet Revolver. And Velvet Revolver, Scott Weiland, and the Guns N' Roses guys blew me away. They opened up for him. I think they even got to open up later that year, or that next year, for Van Halen on a Van Halen. I mean, holy cow, these guys were like babies, like 18, 19 years old, and they're opening up for some of the biggest bands. Insane. So Silvertide didn't work out. I thought they were terrific. Nick's kind of been a renaissance man. He's kind of been doing all kinds of stuff. He's just like a really interesting cat. He moved to LA, he opened a tattoo shop, and then he started building custom guitars and motorcycles, and like this really interesting life. But he's just passionate about music. Music has always been his muse. And so he tried a couple different other bands. I know one, he got back with Walt Laffey, who was the lead singer of Silvertide. It was called Sinai, Sinai. And I was hoping that would go somewhere, and it just didn't. But anyway, this is Nick's self-funded, I mean, respect, Nick, like, A+, self-funded project. I think Walt even sings on one of these songs, and it's a very, like, chill, like, he's just a guitar virtuoso, like an amazing guitar player. But the thing that shines out about this album, I bought this through the web store. Again, this comes on orange vinyl. Kind of really dope. Kind of matches the aesthetic of the jacket. But Nick is just passionate about music, and he's actually in the middle of they're mastering their second release for Nick Perry and the Underground Thieves. I think if I've read correctly, he's even going to make it a double album, which is really ambitious, right? But in between, like, I caught him, like, unfortunately the band hasn't really come through St. Louis outside of, like, I saw him on Silvertide, but he was playing guitar for a band called Dorothy, or a singer named Dorothy who does kind of like alt metal kind of rock music. And so I got to catch them play, and Nick is, I mean, he's just awesome guitar player, and just the love this guy has for music. Like, he's one of the guys who just eats and breathes and sleeps music, making it, performing it, living it. So of any of the records I'm going to show, like, I would highly, like, give Nick a try, because his sister is actually Christina Perry, who had that song, like a top 40 song, Jar of Hearts. So, like, a musical family. Like, it's just so cool. Nick's a good guy, and Nick is an amazing musician. Check it out.
I feel good. Jam!
Alright, so this record is by a band called Augustana. It's called Can't Love, Can't Hurt. This came out, I think, 2008. Yeah, I'm showing a lot of 2008 records today. Interesting band. They're very similar to, like, Aqualung, or like that kind of vibe. Like, just kind of chill, like, alternative rock music. Think about, like, Lifehouse, probably another comparable band. The reason I'm showing this is, of any record in my collection, and, you know, even talking the rarest of rares that I know folks in the BC have, that's why I'm not showing them. Side note, I get more unsolicited emails on Discogs from folks trying to buy this record from me, and like, really generous offers, like, hey, notice you have this, name your price. I think it's really, like, flattering. I had no idea this band had a following to this scale, but I think it speaks to the record labels not reissuing the records people want to hear sometimes. As you can see, I picked this up for $25 at Amoeba San Francisco. It was my first time at that shop years and years ago. I've been there back since. But yeah, I was on the wall, and I was like, oh yeah, I like that band, and their signature song is called Sweet and Low. Yeah, I'll pick it up. But it's crazy, like, crazy. Another Boomer Scalper reference. Crazy, like, how many times, I would say, like, a couple times a year, probably 3 or 4 times, I'll just get an unsolicited email on Discogs saying, hey, notice you have this record, any chance you'd want to trade or sell or whatever. And it's okay, you know. So I definitely, like, have the conversations. Not, I would never say never, but the reasons I've kind of kept the record for this long is because of that, because, like, clearly, like, they're not going to reissue this anytime soon. I think this is on Epic label. Anyway, show me what you got. Do you guys have this one? I'd be curious to see if you guys have had similar experiences, if you do.
What does Eddie think about?
This is a real rare one, rare, obscure, if you will. This is one of my favorite singer-songwriters, David Gray, who I recently saw in concert. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw some of that. Century Ends. This is a UK-only release on the very, very, very small Hut Records. This is one of his earliest records, his earliest recordings. You can see how skinny he was. I mean, he's still a skinny guy, but, like, baby skinny, right? When I first really got deep into collecting about 10 years ago, this is when I learned about Discogs. This is one of the records that I kind of did some research and found. I didn't know it was pressed on vinyl, because a lot of his catalog's not on vinyl. It's wild. But on Discogs, I found this record is UK only, put on my want list. So it's been very rare that's popped up in the States, because I don't really like buying records and having them shipped internationally. I just have had too much trouble. Likewise, I don't like selling records and shipping them internationally. Side note. So when this pops up for sale in the States, Discogs, eBay, whatever, like few and far between, and it's crazy money. But I got a really good price on this one. It was, at the time, one of my more expensive purchases, but now, in retrospect, like it's, just a Wednesday record buy, I guess. But anyway, never find. This is another record like that Augustana one I just showed that I get some solicitations from, like, hey, would you be willing to sell? Because, again, don't know that this record, this label ever, I don't even know if it still exists. Hut Records, is it still in existence? I don't know. But it could be one of those things that the tapes were lost, or they were acquired by a bigger label that was acquired by a bigger label and it's got lost in the shuffle. Could be one of those things, but the odds of this ever getting repressed, probably not very high as of this taping. But anyway, one of my favorite artists, one of my favorite pieces of my collection. No, I will not sell it. Let's go on to the next one.
Come get some.
All right, very similar to when I was talking about Nick Perry and Underground Thieves / Silvertide. Is this band? They're based out of San Diego. They're called Dirty Sweet. This was their second album, which is called American Spiritual. And I know you're thinking, hey, Concert Buddy, it's another sealed record. Like, you don't listen to these things? No, it's actually not. This is actually my second copy of this one. I was thinking about them, I think like a year ago, and I just happened to be checking my collection, and I saw that somebody had this little straggler on Discogs for like $10, and I couldn't in good conscience leave that out there and just wasting away knowing what good music is lying on this one. So maybe I'll gift it to somebody. I haven't really decided. It's one of those things, but I do have an open copy, and I have an open copy of the first album, I think it was self-titled, that really turned me on to this band. Again, like I was talking about Silvertide, like an American rock, blues rock kind of vibe. Very, again, Black Crowes is probably the easiest comparison. There's a real popular band right now called Dirty Honey that has kind of a very similar aesthetic and similar sound and kind of vibe. But these guys, again, from San Diego, didn't really make it. It's one of those bands that, like, I really enjoyed them at the time, but they just can never, I guess, find the mainstream audience that a lot of bands don't seem to be able to track down. But last I had heard, previous to my, thinking about them a year ago, they had disbanded, and so I hadn't thought of them for years. And then through that research, I found out they released only over in Europe, like I'm sure it's probably digital mastering, European vinyl that I bought it. I did buy that one overseas because I was like, hey, what are these guys up to? Anyway, Dirty Sweet, American Spiritual. Like, this is another band, like, you're kind of interested in, is like, really feel it, rock and roll music. These dudes do it well. And I'm just so happy that through this video I can share this because these guys rock. Let's go on to the next one.
Ah, the 60s.
All right, folks, home stretch, last two. This is J.C. Brooks. This is the release Neon Jungle. I learned about J.C. Brooks and the Uptown Sound. They're based in Chicago through a local record store. Had them in for a record store to in-store years ago, and then they were playing Lollapalooza, and I was going that year, so I caught them again. And I've caught them a couple times when I've been in Chicago. I've caught them when they've come through St. Louis. This was the last release, I believe, that they've done on vinyl. The band is, like a lot of bands, evolved over the years. People coming, people going. Used to be, like I said, J.C. Brooks and the Uptown Sound. This one was just J.C. Brooks. J.C. is like a theater-based performer. Very tall cat. Great singer, great dancer. High energy type of performance. Haven't released anything lately that I'm aware of, but I'll say I've seen these guys so many times and just had a good time going to their shows. Sometimes there's not a lot of people there. Sometimes they got a great turnout, especially in their home market of Chicago. But this comes on a really cool, outside of the seam split, kind of like purple, kind of marbling treatment. I always love it when indie bands or like emerging bands make it a priority to release their work on vinyl. I think that's just so cool, so dope. And J.C. Brooks is no exception. So got this one at Reckless Records in Chicago. It used to be one of my favorite record stores. Another story for another time. But anyway, happy to have this one and happy to show it in this contest.
Sure.
All right, folks, last one on the 10 obscure, people don't have it in the VC contest entry here is a St. Louis band called Greek Fire. This is their debut album. I'm going to butcher this. I know it's like a book or like a movie series. Deus Ex Machina. These guys actually had started as a side project from a band maybe you've heard about called Story of the Year, also from St. Louis. When I was in college, Story of the Year used to be a band called Big Blue Monkey, because I'm about that age. And some friends of ours were in a band that ultimately got signed, I think, to Sony Greenville. And there was always Battle of the Band contests, and they used to be called, story used to be called Big Blue Monkey. Anyway, so I've had like a long understanding and knowledge of these guys and just seen their careers grow in really interesting ways. This was a side project from two of the guitar players, Ryan Phillips and Philip Moon Sneed, who's on the local radio KPNT I talked about earlier. He's on there now. Anyway, a great high energy rock album. They have like synth in there. They've got a lot of different sounds that are just like delicious to the eardrums. Yeah, great exercise music. Like I just love, and they're local, right? I love supporting local music. This comes, I don't have it open, but it comes on like white vinyl. My favorite song is Down in Mexico. Like just a kick-ass rock song. If you're looking for a new kick-ass rock song, I don't know if you are, but if you are, Down in Mexico by Greek Fire, like will blow your socks off. It'll blow your sandals off if you're summertime, it's hot, right? So anyway, that's my list. Do you guys have any of these? Are you guys going to expose me for the fraud that I'm trying not to be? Do you guys have any of these records? I'm betting probably not. There's a couple that may, like I said, a Dawes record may have some folks in the BC who have it. But anyway, tell me in the comments below, what do you think? Are you interested in any of these bands? You want more information? I always love the conversation we have in the comments section below, but more than that, I appreciate you sharing your time, appreciating you giving my channel this video a chance as always. So, until we meet again, friends, when you get the chance, just spin it. See you next time.
Well, well, well. How the turntables...
Well, we out of time.